Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Cade Bonsall. Once again, I'm joined by my friend Andrew Duvall, and this is going to be our review for Finding Nemo from 2003. So, Andrew, this is a movie that means a lot to you, right?
Yes, it does. And for a very good reason. This is actually the very first movie I saw in theaters.
Oh, really?
I saw this when I was 4 years old. My godmother took me to see this, and the reason for that was because my sister was being born at the exact same time.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm not kidding. That's why this one has a very special place to me. And the fact that I'm also now a marine biologist makes this movie all the more fun to watch.
Makes sense. Well, tell you what, I think that this movie is also great. I definitely think it's one of the probably best Pixar films ever made. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like it's Toy Story and Toy Story 3, and then this. And then something like Monsters Inc. or Cars. Not Cars. We don't talk about Cars.
Yeah, I agree.
They've made a lot of good movies, but I feel like this one is definitely on the podium of their best. I don't think it's as good as the original Toy Story, Toy Story 3, but it's definitely in that conversation.
Absolutely, for sure. So, let's get into it. So, what's great about this movie? Well, first off, here's what's great: the story. I think the story for this film is fantastic, and I also like how it is a father-son story. I think that that's something really unique about the film.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever actually had an animated father-son movie like this before. And I mean the fact that yes, they're fish, I don't really fish. That doesn't really take away from the fact that it is very much a father on the quest to find his son. And yes, at the beginning of the movie, they had their little tiff, but you can clearly tell that Marlin still loves Nemo and Nemo still loves Marlin. It's a dad and a kid having a little spat. You know, that happens. It's when you're raising a kid. So,
Oh, absolutely, and that's one of the unique things about the story. And I also like the journey that Marlin goes on with Dory. I do like that element, and I love their dynamic. That's one of the better things about the movie. One of the best things is the relationship between Marlin and Dory.
absolutely. On one hand, you got ultra paranoid, kind of neurotic Marlin, who's scared of the entire world around him. And then you got free spirit, but complete and utter no lights on upstairs Dory. And the fact that they're both presented as these polar opposites, but they come together and they work so well together is a testament not only to the writing in the movie, but to the voice acting of both Ellen DeGeneres and Albert Brooks.
Yes, and that's another thing. That's why I like this movie because I think if you have films, that where characters who are complete opposites of each other who still work together to accomplish something, I think doing that in general, that's great storytelling because despite the fact that they're different, but they can still work together, I think that can also really say a lot about their characters in general.
Yes, and I feel like this movie came out before shall we say, not all there sidekick character became incredibly annoying and passe.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But yeah, I love their dynamic. Another thing that I also love, and this might be the best thing about the movie. I don't know, but the animation in this movie is fantastic. It's such a beautiful film. And again, the animation, this is still one of the better looking Pixar films, in my opinion.
This is one of the most detailed animated movies of all time. Like
Yes.
the fact, when they first introduced Bruce and he does his big smile and shows all his teeth, the fact that you can actually make out like different details, like some of them have chips out of it, and you can clearly see that there's multiple rows of teeth, which is actually a scientifically correct detail. The great white shark does have multiple rows of teeth, so that if one gets knocked out or ripped out, there is one behind it that grows into its place. That is actually a scientifically accurate fact. Well done, Pixar. You get a cookie.
Right. Yeah, that's a great thing about the movie. And another great thing about the movie, I would say, would probably have to be the characters in general. I think the characters in this movie are very unique. They're all fleshed out really well. They all have great personalities. I think it can be argued that Dory really steals the show. Well, because she is probably, if not the best character in the movie, she's definitely like just the most enjoyable in my opinion. And Ellen DeGeneres plays her very well. But in my opinion, another great character in this film, just one that really stands out, is the character of Gil and Willem Dafoe's performance.
Absolutely. I think I'll start with Dory. She's this, yeah, she's just so adorable and precious the whole movie. Because yes, she's not all there in between the ears, but she's not annoying. She's just adorable and cute and lovable the entire movie. but she's not useless either. Like, she's got her big moments to shine, and she's never a burden to Marlon. I feel like she's kind of the lighter half to the yin to his yang.
Absolutely. I agree. And yeah, with the character, yeah, Dory's awesome. And I think in terms of the character of Gil and Willem Dafoe, whether he's on screen or just doing a voice performance, he always, I think, nails every movie and role that he's in because he's just that great of an actor. And I actually really do like the character of Gil in this movie because he feels like one of those characters that every time you just have a conversation with them, you just become smarter. You know, when you have those type of characters in a movie, he's just that knowledgeable.
Yeah, and Willem Dafoe presents him as this very, I think, battle worn and battle scarred is really the best way to describe it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
he's been through a lot, and he just wants the simple act of being free again. Is just, it's a sympathetic thing, and he gives him so much emotional weight because it's like, has his plans gone too far when he nearly hurts Nemo?
Yes.
Like, how far are you willing to go to achieve your goals? And but he realizes that he's made a mistake when it comes to nearly hurting the kid. So it's like, no, we're not doing this again. It's not safe. It's not safe for you.
Yeah.
There's layers. It's almost kind of like I'm getting the vibes of the kind of like old grizzled veteran general who's still working, but really, but is I don't even really know how to put it, but it's like old and grizzled and just, but not stupid and not arrogant.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I loved his character so much. And another thing that I love about this movie, it would have to be the themes because I think this movie has great themes. It's a lot about trust, it's about friendship, it's about family, and I think it's also a lot about fear in general.
Yeah, because I mean, there's some genuinely scary moments in this movie for it being, an animated kids movie.
Yeah, and it can also be relating to the themes and just how scary it can be. I think it has very dark themes as well, like I just said, and they're explored very well. But yeah, I think those are explored very well. And that brings me to another pro about this movie. It works for both kids and adults.
Yeah, because I mean, it's got jokes and all the pretty colors for the kids, but it's also got some pretty heavy themes that I'm sure adults can relate with, which is, how far will you go to protect and save your kids? You know, you're dealing with emotional trauma from your past and how that affects you in the present. How far are you willing to go to achieve your dreams, and are you willing to hurt other people to accomplish them?
Yes, I agree completely. Now, so we've talked about our pros for this movie. Now I think we should get into our cons. So, do you have any big cons with this film?
Not really. This is one of those movies I don't really have anything negative to say.
Yeah, I don't really have any major like cons with this movie. I mean, maybe just a few, but they're not really worth talking about. Well, maybe one. So, I when it comes to the climax of this film, I don't think it's underwhelming. It's just not really I'm not too sure it's what I was expecting it all to lead up to because I rewatched it again recently and I started to think, I mean, this isn't a bad ending. It's a good ending in general. It's just I kind of thought it would be a little different, if you know what I mean.
I get where you're coming from, but I think, do you have something in thing that you would have preferred to see as a climax in this case?
Well, I think that if I look back at it now, I honestly would have thought that if I had watched it for the first time, I probably would have thought, him reuniting with Nemo would have been what it was, getting him out of the dentist's office and finally reuniting with him. I thought that would be it. But then, there's more to it after that. And but it's not a big complaint. I just something that I noticed. It doesn't again, I still love this movie. It's probably my only issue with it, but other than that, no, I think this movie's fantastic. And I do think that yeah, it's just great. And if you were to rate it, what would you give it on a rating from 1 to 10?
Ooh,
Is this a 10?
I really do love this movie, and this might just be me thinking with my heart rather than my head for once. I think this is a 10. I really do. And I think this is definitely deserving of being the first movie that won Pixar the Best Animated Feature Oscar.
I agree.
Remember, Toy Story came out before this was a category. And the first movie they made that was nominated was Monsters Inc. And while that is a very good movie, I definitely will argue that Shrek is a better movie than Monsters Inc. So I think that one was more deserving.
Yeah, I'll
But yeah,
have to
no,
agree with that.
this is a historic movie in more than one way, and the fact that it was the first of what became many, 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 many Best Animated Picture Oscars for Pixar.
Yes, for sure. But yeah, anything else you want to say about the movie? Because I know how much it means to you.
No, I really love this movie. I always have since and probably always will. And the fact that I just realized it's 20 years old makes me feel very old.
Yeah, I get it. Well, yeah, I guess that's it. I guess I also probably give it a 10. I think it's that great of a film. And yeah, I agree. It's definitely one of the best Pixar films ever. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to our review. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we got more to come. Thanks. See you.